Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another episode of Adventures Chat Log. This week we will be talking about the difference between the North American community versus the Asian community. This topic caught my eye while I was searching the official forums for topics to talk about. I will leave the link in the description down below if you want to have a look at the topic yourself. First of all, I have been in the North American server in the past. While I do reside in the JP servers now, the main reason I transferred wasn't because I found the North American community toxic. It was because I was struggling with the time difference between Australia and North America. However, toxicity in the North American community was also a part of it. I was tired of the constant name calling and so forth. Rather than help the new players, you will be called noob instead of getting an explanation how the fight works. The constant no vote abandon until we clear this, when clearly there is no way for the group to clear the content back in the days without any practice. However, let's be real here. There is always toxicity within gaming, whether you play in the NA or Asian games, but I will admit most toxicity I have experienced resides in the North American community. The way I see it, the root of it all is the cultural difference. The root of it all, I believe, is the way we were brought up by our parents. Now, in the Asian community, you are told to and expected to respect your elders and your fellow man. I'm sure in the Western culture this is the case too, but the way it is done is quite different. In the Eastern culture, you are disciplined by your elders when you do something wrong, and here is where it clearly differentiates with the Western culture. Discipline in the Eastern culture means getting spanked as a kid. In the Western culture, you get told off. You go to the naughty corner. While people may see this as like child abuse, in some ways I don't see it that way. The punishment of getting spanked only happens when you have done something really terrible. And for the most part, your parents are hitting you is always controlled. They always control their strength. Unless your parents are insane and hits you with all their strength. Now that's what I call child abuse. But if they hit you in a controlled manner and there is a main reason for it, I think that is discipline. Now I don't claim this to be the right way to discipline anyone's kids. You can discipline your kids the way you want them to. I am not a parent, and this is only my experience growing up. However, this leaves an impression to kids not to do anything bad. Whether it's talking back to your elders or to talk bad about your fellow man or basically do something terrible. This is ingrained at the early stages of our lives. While Western kids stand in a naughty corner to think about what they've done wrong, we are told what we have done wrong. Now, let's not bash the Western community, because while there is some truth in all of this, at least I think anyway, the Asian community is not without fault when it comes to toxicity. JP players tend to stay with JP players. There are far few in between JP players that welcome English speaking players. Whether this is due to communication difficulties or to downright prejudice towards them. This can be called toxicity too. While I can understand to some extent that it is a Japanese server for the Japanese, Why should we learn your language and you don't learn ours? Let's face it, English is a more common language than Japanese. Outside of business purposes, interest, and weeboos or whatever you call them, no one is going to learn Japanese. While English is taught in every corner of the world. I can tell you now that English is mostly the second language of all Asian countries, and in some cases, it is their third language. While I consider English to be my second language now, it is in fact my third or fourth language growing up. I may have lost the ability to speak my other two languages due to not using them for nearly 15 years. But I believe English is going to be more prevalent in the early days anyway, more than the others. English is taught in every school possible in Asia. So don't tell me you can't read English or you can't understand it. You don't have to speak it. No one will judge your accent. All you have to do is reply in English words. But I digress. So while I believe the NA server have more toxicity within them, the JP servers have them too. It's not the same. It's not to the extent of the NA servers with the name calling and such, but it is there. It exists. But guys, this is just my own experience within the two communities. I want to hear from you guys what you think is the cause of the difference in toxicity between the two communities. Leave a comment down below. I'm sure a lot of you have different opinions, and I'm sure I'll get bashed in the comments down below with all the things I've said between the two communities. But like I said, this is my own experience within the two community in Final Fantasy XIV. It's not always going to be perfect. Gaming will have its trolls, whether it's in NA or in Japanese or in other Asian communities, the Chinese, especially with PUBG being prevalent right now. I know there's a lot of Chinese players that play it, and you can just see it in YouTube. It's everywhere, trolling and toxicity within communities. It's always going to be there, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. But specifically for Final Fantasy XIV, these are just my opinions. And of course, my experience between the two communities. So please, if you have your own opinion, you can leave it down in the comments below, or you can make a same video as I have. Anyway, guys, remember to click like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it informative at all. As always, like I said, I want to hear from you guys down in the comments below, and follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.